Hello，早晨，呢個視頻啦係記錄指示俾四大天王劉德華、張學友、郭富城同埋黎明同埋麥明詩 Louis Mack and the Four Heavenly Kings, as well as the Colombian President 哥倫比亞同埋墨西哥總統 Mexican President. For those who don't know, this is how the news outlet give the nomenclature to famous and celebrity people. They just have a little phonetic translation. So Biden is Biden. So that's how the Cantonese news outlet goes. With that, I will do an a cappella pull out. 一起走過的日子 or Together for the Days We Stride, and it sounds like this. 如何面對曾一起走過的日子，現在剩下我獨行，如何讓心息一一講你知，從來無人明白我，唯一你俾我好日子，愛你有愛情，有生有死偶爾，多少風波都現闖。Okay, so that I want to talk about my word core messaging distribution. I think majority of the code, it's all in my head. It's pretty much done. There's the two remaining system issue that I resolved just this morning. So I'm just going to finish coding it. One of them is that in order to start the integration between the Tomcat and Eclipse, you have to have a version system up. So you had to start up Tomcat using startup.bat as an independent system, and then that Eclipse gathers some sort of localhost configuration into a profile and copies it into the workspace, Eclipse workspace directory called server. So importing the source file, the .java, as well as the creating the own package explicitly will not work. It will work if you start up the Tomcat system as an independent Tomcat and you copy the WAR file to create a context. A context is the naming scheme for the WAR file. It's the first root directory to the URI, Universal Resource Locator. It's not URL, it's URI. It's more generalized. The URL is deprecated in the Java API. And that's one issue. And the second issue is when you bundle the library jar file in the webinf/lib directory, the class loader works differently. I thought what happened is there was multiple contexts, and so that shielded, that deprecated the older API from the newer ones, and so that was why it's not working. But I think it's because of the class loader that's different in the Eclipse as well as the Tomcat. So if you declare a new class using explicit constructor without the public explicitly, then it's not a default package. That works in Java, the Java environment, but it does not work in the class loader. So the constructor without the explicit public keyword in the class, then the compiler will compile it. But in runtime, when you actually the compiler will catch it because you have a deprecated imported jar file. So the way to rewind it, I need to resolve it, but I hacked it. I just created a new different class in the Tomcat in the service directory. For example, instead of calling it local container, I got local server container. So that hack got around these library dependencies. With that, I think majority of the concept is pretty much there. According to Ray Dalio, it's really simple. It's just, honestly, the whole thing is just a print writer, which gets a new line, right? So basically you have a pipe, just like a TCP. So it's really the whole Generation 2 transmission protocol. It's just based on just 20 lines of code, actually. And in order to implement a mine body, without the mine body, you need a separate HTTP request to get a GIF file, right? So HTML tag will have to have uh, a context. So a context is local. Like let's say you have Bank of America, then you have the GIF, the logo of Bank of America. Like instead of an absolute URI, then you have a relative URI. But then that has to be within the same context, uh, due to security reason, right? But with the mine stuff, you can embed the whole thing into one HTTP request. So that's a mine body, and it's basically is a protocol in which you have the new line, and then the message barrier. The message barrier will be the same key code that's repeated. It's a unique ID. You could call it my GIF 2235, with the 235 being a constant. So that's and then after the new line, the next one has the content length. Then you could just get the whole bits, the entire bit. You could call it verbatim, the entire bits. So that's a mind body specification that could be implemented. The following with that, so that the entire transport protocol should be working. Of course, there's an authenticator, but that's just a different technical issue. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay. So with that, I'm going to transfer the entire intellectual property to Bill Gates. Originally, I thought like, oh, I'm gonna get the original Cornerware team to finish implement this, but no one's coming to save me, because not even the Cornerware team, right? Because they hit a psychological barrier. The reason why I got the job in Cornerware is because I'm willing to do 1 year of no pay before angel investment in Cornerware. Well, it's not. By the time money was in the bank, it was actually technically 8 months, right? But it was all 8 months of no pay. So that's how I got a job in Cornerware. So the people in Cornerware, as well as Maggie, they need a payout because they hit the psychological barrier, right? They just don't have the imagination to continue on. The Cornerware team will not be here to save me. So with that, I think the only person who could carry this forward will be Bill Gates. So I entrust you to have Generation 2 transmission protocol, because there's so much more features to implement. I need to implement voice traveling at the speed of sound, as well as digital currency travel at speed of sound, and the ICMP, which is the layer 1 broadcast instead of polling interval. Those need to be implemented. So I don't. I mean, for example, I need the Virgin system. I need to resolve that. But then if I don't resolve that, the ICMP is not going to work, because I need multiple of these stripped down web services for streetlights. So it's just much more efficient if I just hand it to Bill Gates. I think he's the only person who could just finish the coding. Maggie's not going to come to save me. No one's going to come to save me. With that, I will continue my talk with worldwide constitution. This is what Biden wants, right? I set a date. Valentine's Day will be negative 91 days until day 0. The day 0 will be May 16th, 2025. That happens to be IU's birthday. So that will be day 0. And so I'm class of 91. So I use Grok to count the Valentine's Day, February 14th to that day will be 91 days. And so on day 0, there'll be a worldwide curfew. Entire world will shut down in a standstill, and we will go to a bulletproof enclosure. It could be the Vegas Pier. There's enough infrastructure over there. We don't have to create the whole thing, and we could create images on the spear. But the whole concept is, under this bulletproof enclosure, with military support to shut the entire world down, there will be escort. Each of the president will escort. Right now, there's 14 Asian alliance. They're mostly Asian country. but you could generalize it to each representative from each country, with the president to escort them, and there will be four type of performance. I upgraded one more. The first one is a scheduled speech. That's under the guidance of Joe Biden. He could invite anybody to make a scheduled speech under the Vegas speeder or bulletproof enclosure. The second is a structured music. So that's under Taylor Swift. You could, like Elton John, you could invite anybody to go under that 1 hour performance to do that. And then the third will be impromptu karaoke, and that will be me. Hopefully IU will come, and anybody who wishes to come. I would like Tom Cruise to escort a kid to hand out flowers, because I don't think it's possible for me to do some sort of coordinated dance, right? So it's just too stressful, and so we'll just make it a real life performance, like one kid at a time, escorted. We'll hand them flowers, and flower, FLOUR, and so that's under the guidance of Tom Cruise, and then there will be a bazooka firing. So that's The Rock, right? So, and then all the entire athletic team in the whole world, Michael Jordan. So what happened is, because I have this mindset, I'll carry it through. I'll just make it bigger. Originally, it would be just 4 people with a bazooka, and a family member would each have to cradle the person in a very safe position, right? So one person had to knee down with hands and knee to the ground, and that agent or international alliance will have one knee under one knee under the cradle, and then another family member would make sure the AI will not have whiplash, and there'll be another military team to secure the bazooka. Initially, I thought it was going to be 4 people, but I'm all in. After this Code Word Core messaging that released, I handed to Bill Gates. I'm all in, right? So the bigger it is, the less stressful for me, right? Because my job is to do my poker face. For those who haven't really, I never performed over 200 people in my lifetime. Maggie performed over 5,000 with a little speech. Okay, I got that maybe over my head here, but hey, the bigger it is with the bazooka, the less stressful it is for me. So go all the way. Not only 4 people, 14 people. Okay, however you guys want it. I'm pretty sure live bazooka. Originally, I thought it would be something like toned down, so the bazooka won't fire and hurt people. But now, you want live bazooka? Go ahead, do that. My job is just to perform. And then Patrick Bet David, good job on your Jesse Waters presentation. Certainly, you did a really great cop block for Elon Musk. First, salute. I can't wait until Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and oh my God, who's the CEO at Amazon? Jeff Bezos. Do the trio salute. But I'm not gonna do the political stuff. I'm gonna tone down. I want to tone down those. Okay, so so this Olympic size coordination could be year round. However, this coordinated, Patrick Bet David, you're in charge of this Olympic stuff like that. Who's the producer of Castaway? Oh my God, all these producers. I forgot her name. I have a brain freeze. Sorry. if you want to be in charge of this Olympic organization, just contact Patrick Bay David. If you guys, so basically, I'm doing this all for IU, right? So IU, maybe one day you wake up and say, "Oh, Jungkook, he's so handsome and everything. Like, I want unconditional love." Like, okay, so this is my unconditional love. Okay, you have this performance. It's all yours. Okay, if you have a kid, the first kid, uh, you can keep the last name team. Okay, the second one could be Lak. Okay, if you wish to marry me, you can keep your last name. It's Lee Jing Un, means un in Cantonese is silvers, ngan, right? And you always like gold, so you have a nickname, Lee Jun Gum. And when I say Gong Gum, Gong Sam to I, so Maggie's Cantonese name is Wang Chui Gum, and she hates it when I call her Gum Gong Sam. She hates it. She really like. You saw that reply, okay? Like, it's no joke, okay? It's like zero tolerance. Man, she's gonna get me. So when you the reason why people go for red, like what Maggie said is the zero tolerance message, it's because they don't have that imagination to go 15 steps ahead, okay? And they need a payout. The people who are willing to go beyond it are willing to do it for no pay. Apparently, this job and work thing is not working for Donald Trump because he doesn't have the vision for the next 15. I'm not gonna be political over that, okay? So let me talk about IU. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so it's all yours. There'll be it could be a yearly, annual performance that happens. I'm pretty sure Elton John, Dua Lipa, Steve Bono. I got a quote from Steve Bono. When Bill Gates retired, he said, "Oh, Bill Gates, just because you can play Guitar Hero doesn't mean you could be in a band." So they were all calling you. It's like, "Oh, we need another music performance every year." So I'm pretty sure they'll be calling you every year, you know. And there's so many people that I did not really like. Oprah, I'm pretty sure she wants to contribute to this right here. Pick up your phone, call out Patrick Bet David, pick up IU, like, oh, out every year. Like, I want to decide. And also, Kamala Harris, this is original 14 Asian Alliance. We'll build that for each representative of the entire country. That work is up to you. I'll hand it off to you to do that. And in fact, Ray Dalio, I have your book, Principle. It's because according to Patrick Bet David, he said non-negotiable. If you want a job to work for Patrick Bet David, you have to read the book. So I did read it. I have 2 copies. I just forgot to. It's in there. Like, it's pristine. I did not even wrinkle it. I don't like to mark it like wrinkle it. I'm supposed to do it. But I did not read the whole book, but it sounds very interesting. You have a lot of ideas. In the very beginning, you talk about what makes you a why for this book, and toward the end it's about putting a team together. About is a meritocracy and how the type of mindset it requires to put a team together. So with that, your responsibility is to have a ratio for the worldwide currency. Is a ratio of commodities, gold, bronze, silver, assets, stocks, equities. I don't know what the term is in financial world, like equities, and it'll be a percentage. Basically, you'll be the new international Federal Reserve, and so how this percentage gets updated, it's all in your entirety to structure this, and there'll be a voting block among the Alliance International to have this worldwide currency. This worldwide currency will be called Silver Server S2 stew. So it'll be the uh, sauce in Spanish, because dos is two, and G C C C, right, will be in Cantonese. So sir, it will be in Mandarin, and so on and so on. Do, like in French, will be the stew. Same thing with English, stew, right? So you're responsible for the currency ratio of commodities, precious metals, and equities and assets. And the spokesperson will be Robert Greene, as well as Anna Navarro for the spokesperson. And so with that, the Y, Neil Gracios, the Y. And so I want to say the why. I'll finalize my story. I want to give thanks to Alex Hormozzi. On my 50th birthday, on that day, I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. I don't know how that works. That's my mindset. My friend came in, and the whole day I was in Napa, just getting 5,000 friends, and that forever changed the way I look at things. It's because of your follow-through mentality. For example, let's say you have a class of 10 students coming in, and then slowly the class students dwindled, and you go, what the world? Like, how can you not come to a class? It's your tonality that scares them away, right? Instead of saying that, it's just like, hey, you should really come here, you know. So I reached that. Just 2 days ago, I went to Oakland to wait for Maggie, and then my uncle always just but and then I had to go like talk about heart, not pertains to the gold. And so I'm passing this beyond this. So I give you a lot of credit for giving this mentality. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just going beyond. Like, after this, like, what's the next vault beyond that, right? And the example I'll give you is, I want to be a wedding singer. Just before I stopped teaching keyboard educators, just exactly in March of 2020 because of COVID. And I told my manager I want to be a wedding singer, so I could play bridal chorus, dun 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 dun. I could learn how to play it. Canon D, green sleeve is for lust, so that's not appropriate. That one hit wonder just flew out the window. But it's just, the more I practice, the more the less inclined. So you have to know how to block it, because otherwise it just feel like, oh god, this is so horrendous, right? So according to what Louisa Mack said, she always say test taking is better than studying. For like when you want to do on stage, try to mitigate over practicing. Just so in recent days, that's what I've been doing. Like, I realized I had to think this over. Besides actually coding and just using brute force I had to think this over. Just like right now is I need to implement like the utility and separate it, right? So if I don't think about it, it's just like I'm just like, I just think about it while coding. Right now is okay. I have another next set of 10 lines I need to code, and I go there and code, right? But I have to just think about it, because if I don't, and then it's just like which class, which file do I need to update? It's just not moving forward. So using brute force to force myself to code every day is just not very conducive, right? So like I'm hitting a lot of system issue right here, but I had to think about it. Like the class is missing, so I'm missing that find command. I don't know how to use the find command in DOS power tools, right? So I had to look it up, and now I'm getting like, oh, this is how you implement the grep command. So I just did the grep command yesterday, and I fixed a lot of build issues. the recursive and stuff like that. It just you gotta just think this through because this is how the Tomcat works in separate stuff like that. So like if I just constantly, especially the system issues, it's very stressful to work in Tomcat, right? Because a lot of these features people don't understand. It's designed to be on the market, right? If it's easy, then people don't think it's a scam. If it's hard to bring it into the market, then people will love it, right? So it's designed that way, where because they want to go past through environment variables and um, go to like XML files for configuration, but there are situations where you want to have a stripped down Tomcat and stuff like that. So it has to be versatile and powerful as well. And so that's how you can bring this to the market. With that, it's not really over practicing that can help you. It's how you think this through, right? So and I'm a little different right now. Like when I make videos, the background, like it needs to be perfect. It needs to be, there shouldn't be any background noise, and if the dog barks, I have to start over. Maybe I need to bring this and go to like the main library in San Francisco, and there's no background. Like, but I realized the more I think about it, the better the video goes. And I'll give you another example. I'll give you an example as the chord, right? And so I'm thinking about the chord. Yesterday, I looked it up in Poker Face. It's A A A A E E A A, right? So you have A, which is toward the middle C, and the bottom line G is the next octave down, A A. So I could always visualize how you can play the chord in Poker Face, because in piano you use a counting method to figure out the chord, right? Tonic, whole, whole, half whole. But in guitar, that the tonic name of the chord, there's a few rules or exceptions. To this very day, I just don't know how it is. For example, when you have a capo, it's a little clamp that goes down. That changes your open string to a closed string, right? So it's no longer the lowest tonic as the name of the key. But then you could use it as a generalized naming scheme, just like a dominant will be the main chord, right? So a subdominant is an interval down. So if you go up, when you go up is this way right here, because it's higher pitch, right? Because if you count the letters, it's Eddie ate dynamite goodbye Eddie, right? The E F G, it goes higher. When you go higher, just like a piano, it's higher tone. So you go this way in a chord, it's high. When you go this direction, it's low. It's going down. The string, you look at it. If you look, when you play a guitar and you look down, the highest string is the highest pitch because it's very thin. That's string 6. The one toward your chin, it's string 1 because it's thicker. It's for a bass guitar. Thumb thumb thumb. So that's going down. So when you go to chord, you go intervals. An interval is the next fret, right? So stuff like that. Then it would be super dominant chord. That's a name, like a subdominant would be an interval down. So that's how you play a chord. And so the A, you could just look up the A chord and go up the octave. Dun 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 dun. Then so in classical guitar, you could you play a note and you strum, or you arpeggiate, right? So you could dun, 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 like but the actual note that you play is the name, is the note that you want to designate for that the dominant chord, right? So let's say in order to play the chord, to know the chord in the piano, the guitar, you look it up. There's a pictorial pyramid. You're supposed to read the note, like there's a C because you have to know how to read it. But for those beginners, just look it up the pictorial diagram. That's like C is this way, D is this way. You know, there's a pictorial diagram, right? You have a D, then you could just choose a name for that note, like A for the note of D, right? And then you go up a dominant or subdominant. I think right now is because I think about this, I understand the question to ask. If I have a chance, I will have to ask my guitar teacher. But hey, just like just like the team in Cornwall, they're not here because they hit a psychological barrier. Okay, they know the guitar shop, but they're not here unless I go to Joe Rogan and I go, oh, I need some advice from a guitar teacher, then maybe they'll come. But right now it's just like Maggie, they hit a psychological barrier. So Alex Hormozzi, like you're in charge of the Pope Mobile, right? But I'm looking for a bass guitar to play my poker face, and I hope you could go past your limiting belief that you can play bass guitar, because nobody is here to help me. You're the only one. The one who's qualified for the job is a person who's willing to do it for no pay. That's the person I'm looking for. So hopefully, Alex Hormozzi, you could you could do the super collider, hardest super collider, with someone that you know. You explain to them like Neil deGrasse Tyson how the atomic subparticles fly out and stuff like that. But you can also make yourself useful and help me do my bass face, because on IU's birthday, which happens to be International IU Day, I would like to propose to her, because I need to have at least 2 kids in order to have my lock name. So that is my albatross. Right? So what's everyone's albatross? Okay, it's like the new iWatch. So you need a new iWatch in order to read the next generation of books, next generation of stuff like literature. And so eventually we're all wearing goggles, and that will be our albatross. Okay, without the next VR goggle, there'll be no why. Bill Gates will not implement the next statute for the worldwide constitution, and all this will be back to the caveman days. With that, I will make more speech for tomorrow. So everybody, February 14th is negative 91 days. May 16th is worldwide shutdown, curfew, complete military shutdown, with planes flying all over throughout the whole world. We'll go in, we'll prepare speech by Joe Biden, prepare music performance headed by Taylor Swift, how this Olympic or size organization is headed by Patrick David. And I wish all the basketball team like Michael Jordan would participate with The Rock, with the bazooka. I'm going to just upload this video. I'm not going to type it up. This is too much work. With that, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.